Alright, what's going on, guys and gals? And we are back for another part of the stereo install here in this Mazda B 3000. And we're going to be doing speakers today. We're going to be replacing all four. And this particular video here will apply to your 93 and up Ford Rangers and 94 and up Mazda B Series. Except we got a super cab, or as Mazda calls it, a cab plus. Now, this will mainly apply to your two-door super cabs. The four-door super cabs, your install might be a little bit different than this. So, alright, well, let's get started. I'll show you what I got to replace what we got in here. Okay, so we're back in the hobby room, and what we got is two pairs of 6x8 kickers. And they're a pretty good speaker for the price. I mean, definitely got to be a better quality than what's in there now. These 18-year-old speakers that are just distorted. Alright, so we're going to start off with the left front speaker. And what we're going to have to do here is pop the door panel. And I've actually done this on my 93 Ranger, which I'm going to guess is quite similar to this. And we're dealing with crank windows on this one, but if you have power windows and power locks, you will have to disconnect a couple wires for your buttons instead of removing that window crank. And something I noticed different about this over my 93 Rangers, it had a screw here, but what you want to do is you want to remove this here holding it on. You want to remove that, and there's a little screw here in the corner that's holding that on. And I forget if I got to remove that or not. I think that just holds the padding on there. But I think once we get that stuff loose, it'll just pop right out. It's not even held in by clips like other vehicles. But anyway, we'll get started and start loosening some stuff up. Okay, so to remove the window crank, you got to kind of pry on the bottom with a flathead screwdriver, but just be careful not to break it. Then you just pull it up like this and slide it to the side. And then there's like a little torque screw in there that you got to remove, and then that should slide right out. Okay, so you want your T20 Torx wrench, like so. Damn, that thing is tight. I can't do this one-handed, so I'll be back. Okay, now that that is slid out, I think we can start sliding this all up. So, yeah, you can see it's real loose now. Sorry for the weird views. I think it would help to lock it so I can slide it off the lock. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, yeah, that screw had to come out too, so now, voila, we got access. And you can see these little holes here is where it all clips in. Very simple. That's where the armrest bolts on. You got your door handle, which is pop riveted in. And there you go, instant access to your speaker. So it should be pretty easy from here. Alright, so you undo the four corners there, and bam, speaker comes out. You could see Ford premium speaker. So there's really not much Mazda in this truck, so you want to take it, unplug it like so. I don't know what review you're going to get there. I think I'm going to put this plug on the new speakers, so I don't have to do any soldering in the truck here. I guess it would help if I get a screwdriver and try that. Probably looking up at the ceiling while I'm rambling about stupid shit once again. Come on. Let's hope this 19-year-old plastic don't break on me. There we go. So yeah, I got the plug apart. I'm going to remove this from the speaker itself and solder it onto the new speaker. You know, just to be neater about it. Alright, fresh out of the box. And the speaker even looks good too. It's almost like it's made out of more of a plastic than a paper, which that's going to do real well during time rather than, you know, disintegrate like paper. And you can see there's the back there, marked your positive, negative. And this is real neat. It actually came with these tails too. So I'm basically going to solder the factory plugs onto this and hook it in like that. And then it's even got screws too. Yeah, I mean, even Eric the Car Guy actually did an install with these types of speakers. I think if you follow him, he has a 93 Acura Vigor that he did a speaker install in with kickers. And he actually recommends them. Yeah, you can check out his stuff, even his ETCG1 channel where he vlogs about cars and stuff. But, yeah, we'll just see how this fits. We'll do a little test fitting here as we walk up to the truck. Maybe I should just go straight metal on this. Give it character. And awesome. That is like a direct fit right there. I don't know why Ford decided to use the 6x8 for the Rangers. That's kind of like an odd size. You would think they would have gone with 6x9s. But it's like that extra inch. Yeah, that's what she said. Okay, so pretty much what I did here to the old speakers, I actually unsoldered these leads from the connector. Now, I want to make this so I can be able to return it back to stock again if I would ever decide to sell my truck or trade it in or whatever. So I just took my soldering iron and just kind of heated that up, and then took my little flathead here and kind of pulled the wire away. So now we got to get this out. Okay, so now that's out. That's where it used to be held, and yeah, as you can see, when you pry tabs on 18-year-old plastic, it doesn't exactly hold up too well. But it slid right out. I really don't need it now, so we're going to go ahead and wire these tails onto the connectors. And it will be the same process for the rear speakers as well. Alright, so we have both an old speaker and a new speaker facing the same way where the leads come out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make positive this side just like over here, and make negative this side just like over here. And whenever you install pairs of speakers or even 4 speakers, you want to make sure you have them all wired the same, or otherwise it's just going to sound weird. So we'll go ahead and do the tail and the connector. Okay, so we got the tail on and the connector is soldered on, and at this point it should be a matter of plug and play as far as testing goes. So we'll just go ahead and do that. Okay, back in the truck, and we're going to go ahead and plug this in. And we got enough length to do this from here. Here, I'm going to put this down a minute. Not sure what you're going to see there. And there we go, it's plugged in now. But I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to take and put some electrical tape over this so that way this doesn't short out inside the door. That wouldn't be good. Alright, so it's all taped up to avoid any shorting, and we'll go ahead and start slipping this thing in. And you want to tuck the wire in like so. Not sure how good you can see there. But we've got that tucked inside there, and yep, we get it to line up here. It's almost like it's just a slight bit off, but I'm sure we can finagle that in some way. Yeah, like that side, yeah, it lines up. We're good. So we'll go ahead and run the screws in. Alright, cool. Now we're all bolted in, and I'm going to make sure it works before I put the panel back on, because I don't want to be taking that back apart again, even though it was kind of simple on this truck. But I must say, this is pretty much the simplest vehicle I've ever owned when it came to stereo installs. Even my 84 Ranger was harder than this, because those of you who are familiar with all the Rangers, you had the little speaker here under the windshield and the one over there. They were a pain in the ass to get out. But anyway, let's turn this on. Pioneer. Alright, now you want this in lock position That way it just makes it a little easier to put it back on. So you want to take it up like this and just make sure all your tabs, I don't know how good you can see, but make sure all your tabs line up and it'll fall right into place. Well, that wasn't too bad getting it back in. It's just the worst part about it is having to line up all the tabs behind it to try and get it. And then, of course, you got to kind of finagle this lock around to get it to go through. But once you get this part and get all the tabs lined up, it just falls right in place. None of them stupid disposable clips to deal with like you have on other vehicles. But, yeah, we got to put the screw back in the handle here. Put the window crank back on. And the screw down here. So, really, it was only held on by 3 screws. And I'm still not sure as to why they put the screw up here on the 93s and maybe the 94s. I'm not sure, but other than that, they're pretty much the same. But, yeah, those of you with electric windows, you don't want to forget to plug your windows and lock wires in behind there. Otherwise, you won't have working windows and locks. But, anyway, let's finish putting this together. Okay, so the crank has been slid back on. And we take our T20 Torx wrench, I guess whatever you call it. I actually got this from a camera that I installed. And then you just tighten it up like so. And these are pretty much your standard Ford window cranks. I had these same cranks in my Tempo. My dad had them in his 92 F-150. They were in my Ranger. I mean, you can find them in just about any Ford. Or a Mazda that's really a Ford. And Mercury's. And that's how you clip it back on. You kind of got to, like, hit it, but not too hard. And voila. We got our windows back. A little squeaky, but who cares. And there is a shot of the speaker from inside the grill. Sweet. So, yeah, that's how you do the front ones. Now, this part will apply to your regular cabs as far as the front goes. Or I'm thinking pretty much any Ranger or B Series for that matter. But anyway, we'll do that side and then move on to the rear. Alright, maybe I won't move on. I forgot to put the screw here and here to tighten it down, so we'll go ahead and do that right now. Before somebody in the comments starts screaming at me, "Oh, you're doing it wrong!" I only ever done this one other time. And that was in the Blue Ranger you saw on a couple videos. Vegas Round 2. That truck was featured on there. And then, of course, as you diehard followers know, I ended up totaling it down in West Virginia at my girlfriend's house, which I'm thankful I walked away from it. And I even got a couple parts off of that truck on this one. So we'll put this screw in here in the corner. And here we go. And once this screw is in, this door is done. That's one thing I love about this truck. I mean, it's so basic and simple and just easy to work on. I done had that cluster apart because the odometer on it froze up. I guess it's like a little worm gear that's like a common issue in these 95 and up Rangers. But, okay, there you go. That is officially done. Like, seriously. So, basically, same process on that side. And, alright, we'll see you in the back. Okay, so we're almost done with the right side, and something I forgot to point out, if you have a long tail like this when you're putting these in, you want to make sure not to have it go out this way where the window track is, otherwise you may break your wire, so you want to try and tuck it more to that side. But, yeah, just kind of like an afterthought, so I figured I'd throw it out there. Alright, so now we'll go in the back of the cab and do the rear two. It is kind of tight in here. I don't know what you can see, but right there is one of the rear speakers. And what you got there is just 4 screws and all you got to do is pop the grid off, and you're right there at the speaker. So none of these panels in here need popped out. Now, your four-door extended cabs, however, the ones with the swing-out doors, I think that whole panel has to come off. But as far as these go, just pop the grill. So we'll pop these 4 screws here, and we'll be back. Okay, so now we are up to the speaker, and what we got here are different bolts. So we're going to need a nut driver to pop them off. So, shit, my battery's going dead. I have to change it anyway, so we'll see in a little bit. Alright, so I found what I need. You're going to need... Is that a 4mm or 5mm? You're either going to need a 5mm ratchet or a 5mm nut driver to get this one out. But once we get these 4 off, we're going to do pretty much the same process as what we just did on the front speakers. Just pretty much, you know, solder the connector onto the tail. So we'll be back once we get the speaker out. Sorry for the weird angle there. Okay, so now we got that out. You can see we got a bracket that holds it on. And yeah, if you're going to attempt to put a 6x9 in this spot, it can be done. However, you're going to have to do some cutting and hacking to make it work. But I just as soon pay a little bit extra and get 6x8s, you know, just do like the factory fit. But yeah, we got the same old connector. I think they're even pretty much the same speakers as what was up front. But yeah, that actually makes it a lot easier than anything else. But why the fuck's it getting blurry? Oh, there we go. But we'll unplug this, take it back to the bench, and do that whole process. Okay, so we're back. Alright, so production quality here at 96.9 whip has improved. I have broke out the trouble light. Yeah, buddy. So, we got the speaker ready right here. I didn't mean to give you a shot of my nuts, I'm sorry. Anyway, I forgot where to hang this light at. Oh, coat hook, cool. There, that gives us a little more light. So, we're just going to take and plug this in and bolt it back up. Yeah, but once again, we're going to take and throw some tape all around that, so that way it doesn't short out, like I said earlier on the front. Alright, bolted into place. Sweet. So, I guess we'll go ahead and test it and put the grill back on. Looks nice, too. Alright, so now we'll install the grill back on. Of course, like I said, 4 in each corner. Hold on while I get my screwdriver here. Okay, we got 2 of the corners in. And the last one. There we go. Still looks factory too. Sweet. So, let's go ahead and get started on this side. It's pretty much the same process, just different side. So, we'll go ahead and replace this and give it a final test. We'll see you later. Alright, we got the install done. Yeah, buddy. So, we're going to actually test this out with some silver tongue. Yeah, sweet. So, go to source. There we go, coming alive. I've been pissed off, bitch, that never been bitch, like yeah, buddy. Well, I'll tell you what, that's a big improvement. The old speakers would have distorted by now. Sounds so much clearer too. yeah, that's how you install speakers in a Super Cab Ranger or B Series. So I would say, all in all, you could do it in an hour and a half pretty easily. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helps somebody out there out. So yeah, if you have any questions, just comment, and we'll see you later.